Assalamualaikum and greetings. This is a weekly review on week 8 and tutorial number 2, Esters. IUPAC name for Esters. To start, we need to identify the structure of Esters as R, C double bond O, OR. Whenever we look at the structure of esters, we need to identify first the location of the alcohol and the carboxylic acid. Remember guys, the structure of carboxylic acid is represented by the RC double bond O part, and the alcohol is represented by the OR part. Any alkyl attachment, the R attached to the oxygen, will be named as the alkyl group. For instance, if you have the oxygen attached to the CH3, this will become methyl. If it attached to an isopropyl structure, this will be called as the isopropyl. And of course, if it attached to aromatic compound or cyclic compound, in this case, it will become cyclohexyl. Take note that it ends up with "il" at the back. This structure is represented by the alcohol from the name of the structure. Okay, alcohol. While for the other part, for the carboxylic acid part, alright, this will end up at OH. Look for the longest chain, and then we're going to replace the OH acid into OH. For instance, if we have two carbon attached to the C double bond O, this will be becoming ethanoate. If we have a benzene attached to the C double bond O, this will become as the, from benzoic, it become benzoate. Alright, we're going to name the alcohol part first. Let's say this is A and B. We're going to name the alcohol part first, which is B, and then we're going to continue with the parent name. As usual, parent name is located at the back of the chain. So let's take a look at the ester first. So we know that this is ester because it has a structure of C double bond O. O and R is the isopropyl structure. So what we're going to do first is we're going to isolate them. Okay, make sure we cut them at the correct place. So we know that this is the alcohol part, and then this is the ester part. Alright, there is 3 carbon attached to the O, so it represented the structure of isopropyl. So you're going to have isopropyl. Okay, make sure the spelling is correct. And then for the ester part, we have the longest chain is 4, and there is a methyl group attached to the second carbon. So 4 carbon is butanoate. We change it into butanoate. There is a substituent located at number 2, which is the methyl group. So when we arrange it, it will become isopropyl to methyl butanoate. Okay, there will be 2 words. First one is representing the alcohol, the second one representing the ester. So this is the correct one. Right, isopropyl to methyl butanoate. Okay, moving on to B. Alright, this looks a little bit tricky, but as usual, just identify the alcohol part and also the ester part. Alcohol part is here, which attached to the O. The ester part is the rest with the C double bond O. So in this case, there is only 1 carbon attached to the oxygen, so this will become methyl. Remember, we have the YL at the back. For this one, the longest chain that we can have is only a single carbon. Alright, if we have a single carbon, instead call it, you can name it as methanoate, or you can also name it as a carboxylate. Just like the example in acyl chloride, where instead of using methanol, we can also use carbonyl to replace the 1 carbon attached to the C double O. Right, carboxylate can also be called as the methanoate, and both is acceptable. So on the first carbon, you can see that it attached to the pentane. So if you want to use carboxylate, you're going to call it as the cyclohexane. pentane, use the full name of the alkene. If you want to use metanoid, you can use cyclopentyl because it is a substituent of the metanoid. Okay, you have the two options there. And then don't forget, we also have a methyl substituent here, which attached to the cyclopentane. Okay, there's a methyl group, so it can be either 1-methyl cyclopentane or 1-methyl cyclopentyl. Please take note that the number 1 is referring to the cyclic structure, not the C double bond O. So let's take a look at the answer. Methyl, 1-methyl cyclopentane carboxylate. Okay, this is correct. And both answer is correct. You can also use cyclopentyl metanoid. Alright, as an alternative. And boleh juga dua-dua, tak ada masalah. Again guys, the placement at the front is the alcohol, while at the back is the ester part. If there is any other substituent on the alcohol or any substituent on the ester, you need to mention it separately. The substituent for alcohol is substituent for alcohol, while the substituent for ester is also substituent for ester. You're going to name it in two words. Okay, C is looking a little bit tricky because instead of having the alcohol located at the right, it's just the drawback structure, so it's located to the left. However, you already knew that. You need to identify which one is alcohol part first. Alcohol is anything which attached to the single oxygen. So in this case, we have a benzene here. Benzene as a substitute, we're going to call it as phenyl. And the longest chain for this one is only 2 carbon. Therefore, it will become ethanoic. We change it to ester. It will become ethanoic. In this case, there is no substituent on the ester part, and there is also no substituent on the alcohol part. So you can arrange it and it will become phenyl ethanoate. Okay, here the phenyl ethanoate. Okay, correct. Moving on, D. Again, identify which part is alcohol part. So this is the alcohol part. This is the ester part. For me, I will go for the alcohol part first because it is easy to identify. So there is 3 carbon here, which attached to carbon number 2. So this we call as isopropyl. Longest chain for this one is 4, so it will be butanoid since it is an ester, a substituent at carbon number 3, which is the methyl group. So the answer will be isopropyl 3-methyl butanoid. So let's look at the answer. Okay, isopropyl is correct. 3-methyl butanoid is correct, except, okay, you forgot the dash there. Okay, 3-methyl butanoid. All right, number 5, E. Okay, E is quite tricky because it is in condensed form. So what you need to do is again identify which part is the alcohol part. Alcohol part is over here. Again, although it is drawing like this, we realize that this is an isopropyl structure. Maybe you ask, hey, what if instead of isopropyl, we name it as, right, this is number 1, this is number 2, this is substituent. Right, you want to name it as methyl ethyl. All right, to be more precise, 1-methyl ethyl. Can you name it as 1-methyl ethyl? All right, for me it is okay. However, if you notice that structure is isopropyl, please use isopropyl. All right, it shows that you know the common name for compound or how to name the compound based on its system, reliable system. Right, so in this case, I'm going to use one isopropyl. All right, what about this one? Number one, number two, number three, number four, number five. Not only that, we have a substituent of cyclopentyl and also an alkene. Remember, guys, any alkene as the substituent for the higher priority group will be considered as substituent. However, we put it inside the parent name. So longestine is 5. This will be pentanoate. All right. If we add the alkene, it will become pen. The location starts from, sorry, okay, this is first carbon. Okay, tersilap. There are 6 carbon there, right? It cannot be pentanoate. Okay, it should be hexanoate. However, there is a substituent at carbon number 2, so this will become hex 2 enoate. And En referring to the alkene group. The cyclopentane can be called as cyclopentyl. So the answer will be isopropyl 5 cyclopentyl hex 2 enoate, right? As you can see, A is already correct. This is already correct. All right, this one is incorrect because it's part of the alkyl group. The usage of 2 is already correct. However, the long parent chain is incorrect. All right, simply put that if you have the incorrect parent, technically the total name will be wrong. Okay? The overall name will be considered as wrong because you do not fulfill the basic requirement, which is functional group and also the longest chain. So technically isopropyl, 5 cyclopentyl, okay, there is no 5 methyl there. 2 hexanoate or hex 2 enoate. Alright, the one is the older naming, the second one is the current naming. So the answer should be like that: isopropyl, 5 cyclopentyl, hex 2 enoate. Alright, last but not least, the structure here, please take note, it is not only comprises of benzene, it attaches to carbon. Unlike the second example, the benzene is directly attached to the oxygen. So if we take the benzene, it becomes phenyl. However, for this one, we have not only benzene, it also attached to the carbon. So the name should be benzyl instead of phenyl. Alright, and then we also have the benzoate structure. Benzoate is a benzene which attaches to the benzene attached to the C double bond O. This is, and then we have substitute at carbon number 3, which is OH, and so carbon number 4 which is nitro. So the answer will be right again. Okay, phenyl is incorrect. It will become benzyl. Okay, the second word will be 3 hydroxy 4 nitro benzoate. So for this example, if you got the parent correct, there will be marks there. Okay, for this one, the phenyl, I will deduct 1 mark. And because failure to detect the correct name for the structure. Alright, guys, please identify what is the difference between phenyl and also benzyl. Benzyl is a benzene with a carbon. Alright, for the structure to name, okay, for the first one, methyl, Okay, methyl because there's only one carbon there, the C3. Right, methanol. Okay, make sure you space it a little bit. Eh? Make a space between it. Okay. This one, number 2. Alright, there's 3 carbon. Okay, there is no dash here. 3 methyl butanoate. Alright, correct. Number 3 is methyl ethanoate. Okay, there is only one carbon at the C, at single bond O. There's 2 carbon there. Again, guys, please separate these two words, methyl ethanoate. And lastly, we have this structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 1,3 dimethyl pentyl. Okay, this is correct. Alright, forgot to write the name. It can be cyclopentane carboxylate, or we can call it as 1-cyclopentyl methanoate. Both of them is acceptable. Alright, that's it for the review for the question Ester. Thank you.